If you spend enough time in a crowded room, you might notice a strange physical reaction. While everyone else seems energized by the noise and the sheer number of people, you end up feeling completely inexplicably exhausted. People usually have a few choice words for this behavior. They might label you as antisocial, write you off as lazy, or assume you're a chronic overthinker who simply cannot relax. Society frames these traits as psychological glitches, flaws in your programming that you need to fix so you can finally fit in and act normal. But if you resonate with even 3 or 4 of these traits, your mind is following a different pattern. It is exceptionally rare. You are operating on a specific biological flow. Think of it as a unique cognitive pipeline, a system that processes reality in 3 very specific stages. The frustration comes from trying to force this architecture to function like a standard one. Navigating the world with this system requires learning the specific rules of your own internal logic. It starts with phase 1, the input filter. This stage dictates exactly how your brain gathers raw data from the outside world. Take your preference for solitude over crowds. For a rare mind, a crowded room triggers sensory overload. Your brain attempts to process a massive volume of surface-level data all at once. Stepping away into solitude acts as a necessary environmental trigger. Once the external noise stops, your brain finally has the bandwidth to boot up and reach its true potential. This intense filtering also applies to human interaction. You possess an intuitive scanning mechanism that detects the difference between a genuine person and a fake persona. Because your brain processes data so heavily, this scanning mechanism strictly limits who gets access to your most valuable resources, your mental energy and your time. What society labels as antisocial behavior is actually a calibrated defense mechanism designed to protect your limited mental bandwidth. Once that select data makes it past the filter, it enters phase 2, the deep processor. This is where the real analysis happens. An average mind stops analyzing the moment it gets a basic answer. A rare mind skips past the what and interrogates the why and how, breaking the information down to its underlying logic. Running this internal loop is mentally exhausting, but by digging past the surface level, you generate clear insights that others often miss. This need for depth naturally dictates your interests. Deep processing leads to a rejection of mainstream trends, simply because they lack the complexity to hold your attention. Instead, you follow internal curiosity. What captures your focus has nothing to do with external popularity, and everything to do with how much there is to dissect. Having niche or unusual interests is the biological byproduct of a brain optimized for depth over shallow breadth. Finally, all that deep processing leads to phase 3, the calculated output. This is the stage where the brain dictates physical actions or reactions. You rarely jump into tasks immediately. From the outside, this hesitation looks like laziness, and it is frequently mislabeled by society as such. Internally, however, your brain is doing math. It is calculating whether a task yields enough value to justify the energy expenditure required to complete it. This same calculation applies to your emotions. You maintain the strict discipline to observe a situation entirely before allowing yourself to physically respond to it. By detaching the immediate rush of emotion from your physical reaction, you give yourself the space to make rational choices. That space creates a reservoir of mental strength. What the world views as a cold or lazy exterior is actually the result of calculated internal resource management. If you recognize 3 or more of these signs, the need for solitude, deep thinking, selective action, people reading, niche interests, or emotional control, you are running a highly functional, rare operating system. The danger lies in trying to force that system to mimic a normal routine. Grinding against your natural processing flow leads to burnout. Mastery over this pipeline begins with self-acceptance. You must stop apologizing for needing isolation to recharge, or for needing to interrogate the details before making a move. You weaponize this pipeline by controlling the environments you enter and guarding your personal energy. Take a moment to evaluate your own habits. Exactly how many of these 6 signs are actively running in your mental pipeline right now? Let me know in the comments. Normalcy is the societal baseline. But when you understand the mechanics of this internal pipeline, your capacity for deep analysis and calculated action transforms from a source of social friction into a system for high-level problem solving.